Hi, I'm back with another video, and this is a part 2 to my why I don't like My Hero Academia. And this video is going to explain, justify my opinions and why I think that, because I didn't do that in the first episode. I just stated why I didn't like it, and that was that. So I'm going to go into more detail and explain exactly why I didn't like it. Last time I filmed this and I didn't write a script. I just had the idea, okay, I don't like this anime, I'm going to explain why I don't like it. But this time I've actually written notes. I've got a notepad and I've written notes on what I'm planning on saying, so I actually have an idea of what I'm talking about. So anyway, let's begin. And someone said that, what cliches are in this, and I can't remember if I did state the most common shonen cliches, which are the whole rival thing, the whole love interest, the weak character gets the power from something strong, and I'm going to go into detail into these cliches. So the rival cliche, someone said that there is no rivalry, but they hate each other. To me, that's rivals. They are rivals because they hate each other. If you look at Naruto and Sasuke from Naruto, and Ryuko and Satsuki from Kill la Kill, they both hate each other, and that is why they are rivals. But why I didn't like it in this anime is because it wasn't really developed on. They just didn't like each other. He didn't like Izuku for some weird reason, but there wasn't a real good development into it. There wasn't a good storyline behind it. Satsuki and Ryuko hate each other because Ryuko accuses Satsuki of killing Ryuko's dad, and that is why they hate. That's why they hate each other, and that's why they're fighting, because Ryuko is trying to bring Satsuki down to find out what really happened. So that's explained, and it does get deeper and deeper into that as the storyline goes on for Kill la Kill. And Naruto and Sasuke, it just starts off as some shitty hate, which is that's the sort of cliche I hate, sort of rival cliche I hate, is when they just hate each other for no reason, other than they're just jealous of each other or something like that. It's like Pokemon, Ash and Gary, they just hate each other. Well, Gary hates Ash, and it's not developed on, it's just kind of left there, okay, they hate each other, deal with it, sort of thing. Instead of having a decent storyline and decent reasoning behind it. Like Haru and Rin from Free, they're rivals, but they have a good reason why, because they competed against each other at swimming contests, and then they had some sort of argument. I can't remember who won, but they had one final race before Rin went off to Australia, and I think Rin lost, and he got really angry with Haru, and then from then on, they just didn't get on, and their rivalry is really, really developed as the series goes on, even though Free has really shit development, but it's good for the muscle. And then there's the whole love interest. I'm pretty sure every shonen, there is that character that is the love interest, and I saw it. I don't know if it was ever developed on, they actually end up together, but you have Naruto and Hinata, but early on it was Naruto and Sakura. Naruto didn't really have a reason why he likes Sakura, it's just he likes her, so it's just that she was the love interest until Hinata comes along. The whole love interest is just so overused in anime, and especially shonen, and I only really like it when it's developed on. That makes sense. If there's a good storyline between the characters, like Bleach, that sucks. The love interests in that suck. I ship some of them, but in Bleach the love interests aren't clear until you read the last chapter of the manga, and then it's clear, and then it just breaks your heart because you ship something else entirely. I'm rambling on, I'm sorry. And then the weak character gets the power from something strong cliche, and this is overused, especially in shonen. It's ridiculously overused, and it's alright when it's something different, it does it in its own unique way, but when it's just kind of oh, here, have this power, and then they're finally brilliant, they can go to the school and whatever, it's kind of just crap. I know, I didn't like it. I don't have a really good reason why I didn't like it, just didn't, because you've got the whole fruit thing, I can't remember what the fruit's called, from One Piece, that Luffy gets stretchy arms from. I haven't seen One Piece, but I played the beginning of the game, so that's how I know that. And then Bleach, Ryukyo gives Ichigo his power. That's probably why I dislike it, because it's already been done. Ichigo does kind of use the trains with the power, and that's the whole of the first series is just him training with it and just growing and just really introducing the whole of the Soul Society. The pacing for the first series of Bleach is shit, but because I had people telling me, stick around for season 2 is great, that's why I stuck around, and about, I think, episode 18 of season 1, it starts to really pick up, and then season 2 is just fucking epic. I don't know why I didn't like the whole, like, Izuku just getting the power from All Might guy. I didn't like All Might, he creeped me out, that's probably why I didn't like it, but he creeped me out, okay. But it's just, I don't know, yeah, he trained for like 10 months, because I googled it, I've actually got research to back myself up this time. He trained for 10 months, okay, like, I'll give that to him. Like, he did kind of deserve it, because 10 months is a long time, but it's just because he's so, like, still kind of useless after, but then still, like, kind of really strong at times. He goes from being, like, really weak to kind of strong, but only certain moments when it's really convenient for the story. Like, oh, he's going to lose, so he'll unleash this power, and he's brilliant, like, he's won, he's top of the charts and all that shit. Yeah, it's overdone in Shonen, and it's predictable. That's it, it's predictable, and I don't like predictable anime. If I can predict it, I don't want to watch it, because I've probably already seen it in another series. And then again, Izuku's just this average character. He's really nothing special, he doesn't offer anything that's just really like, wow, like, Naruto is inspirational, like, everyone treats him like shit, but he still stands up to them, and he still, like, follows his dream of becoming Hokage. Ichigo is determined to protect his family and his friends, and he has that really strong determination to get stronger. And then there's Izuku, he just wants to be part of the school, and that's it. He doesn't have any kind of, like, special qualities about him that makes him go, like, makes him stand out from every other shonen character. He kind of just blends in because he's just average, and then he has nothing special about him, he cries a lot. And then that leads me on to my next point, is, yeah, I said last time that he cries too much, but I didn't justify it. The reason why I don't like that he cries so much is because it's really fucking annoying. It's irritating. I hate any character that constantly cries. Like, if they cry 5 times in one episode, I hate them immediately. I can't stand them. The only character that can cry a lot, and I will not care, is Ushio from Clannad. Because if she starts crying, I start crying, because she's adorable, and that's why she gets away with it, and she's 5. Izuku's like, what? I don't know, he's like 13? I don't know how old people are when they go into high school or whatever, because I don't understand that system, so I have no idea how old Izuku is. But he's crying so much, and it's like, damn, I didn't cry that much when I was that young. He just cries so much about the smallest thing, and it's like, really? Really, Izuku? Really? Do you have to? Yes, he's annoying because of that. And then again, he's not extremely funny, so I can't like him because he's funny. He's just average. He's just an average shonen character. It's just like, meh. And then my main point of it is the awful pacing. I didn't really justify my dislike for the awful pacing either, but 5 episodes to get to the school. It is not bad, but if you take into consideration that it's a 13 episode anime, there's another 8 episodes left to, like, introduce story and stuff, and it's just like, 5 episodes. And it was just, it seems that was what the school was, the whole idea of the anime was that this kid goes to the school, but 5 episodes for that. I mean, that's like watching Ichigo's boring life for 5 episodes before he gets his Shinigami powers from Rukia. No, he gets those in the first episode, so if you're gonna sell an anime that's about something, then make sure it's in it like the first 3 episodes. That's like Steins Gate having 5 episodes of just watching Okabe make really stupid inventions until he accidentally makes the first time machine. Like, no, don't sell something and not give it to me straight away, because I'm impatient. If it takes you, like, ages to get to the, like, whole description or selling point of the anime, I'm gonna get bored and leave. That's like Attack on Titan, and no Titans show up until episode 8. That is what it is. And you have to take this into consideration, like, at the time I was watching this anime, it was airing. I was watching it every week it aired, and it was a 13 episode anime. So, it's a short anime series. Yes, it has 2 seasons now, so it's probably forgivable now that the first series is setting it up. But at the time, that's all there was. Just season 1, and not even that, it was airing, as in, every week there was a new episode. And by the time I gave up, there was 8 episodes, and I had no idea if it was ever going to pick up for the final 5 episodes. I hate slow-paced anime. I think they are boring. You might like it, but I don't, so please accept that. My preference is anime that isn't slow or fast-paced. So, like, that's me, that's my opinion, that's what I like, that's what I I dislike slow anime, that's it. There's nothing is going to change that. Nothing is going to make me like slow-paced anime if I find it boring and unenjoyable to watch. And character development is almost non-existent. Like, Izuku doesn't change that much throughout the anime. I don't know, it's been so long since I've watched, but I can't honestly remember him changing. Like, his personality doesn't alter in a way, or something, like, I don't know, he's not developed. I mean, yeah, it's shown that he doesn't have a quirk and he's the only kid that doesn't have it, but that's it. But Bleach, I mean, he's Bleach again. I shouldn't use Bleach because it's mainstream, so I can compare it. Ichigo does change over the first few episodes. You start to get to know him and find out like why he's the way he is. You find out that his mum died, and that's developed from like how she died, and someone said that it was setting it, but at the time, again, when you're watching an anime and that's all there is and it's just setting it up, it's just like, why? Like, I watch anime to watch a storyline, so if the first series is setting up and there's nothing else after that first series, it's just like, is there any point? Because there might not be season 2, or I might have to wait a year to watch season 2 and get the story, so it's just like, and I'm gonna go watch something else that does have a story, so there's that. It didn't go anywhere either. There was just, as I said earlier, I'm pretty sure I said this earlier, but there was little to no storyline, and there's very little story development. I mean, considering the size of the series, I really thought that there would have been something hinting at some sort of storyline later on that would be later on in the season. Like, I don't know, some like foreshadowing, or just something happening that kind of just goes, okay, this is going to happen later on. So again, it was all just setting up the series, but at the time, I didn't know there was going to be season 2, and it was airing, so that's all I had, was just whatever episode was released next week. That's all I had to go off of. So, and again, setting up shouldn't take the majority of the series, and yeah, it's 13 episodes, so setting up shouldn't take 8 episodes to start getting into it. It should take, especially if it's 13, it should take about 3. Maybe 4, maybe 5, pushing it 5 to really get into something decent. So that's why I stuck around for 8 episodes, is because, okay, maybe there's going to be a story now that he's in school, but no, that hadn't happened, and I just gave up. I just didn't continue watching the next episode because I couldn't be bothered. It wasn't interesting me. And if you compare My Hero Academia and if you compare it to Steins Gate, I mean, Steins Gate's also slow-paced incredibly at the beginning, but at least Steins Gate hints at some sort of story. There is something going to pique viewers' interest, and it piqued my interest because there's a whole, like, how did Kurisu come back to life when she was clearly shown dead in the first episode, things like that. And then it's just the whole experimenting with the time machine, just like building the story up, so kind of the build-up was relevant, it was development, like, oh, this is how this time machine works, and these are all the characters, develop the characters, this is their personality. So, I mean, if it had some sort of thing like in Death Note, very early on you can, like, see L, you don't actually see a silhouette of him, and you can just kind of guess that there is going to be that fight between good and bad. But this, it was just kind of like, oh, here's this character, he has no power, he's going to get this power and he's going to go to school. And it's like, oh, okay, what about story? Like, what about villains? What about any sort of, like, plot points? What is going to happen when he goes to school? Is there going to be something that prevents him from doing that? Is there going to be something that prevents him from progressing with his power, sort of thing? There was just kind of like none of that. There was no hinting or no foreshadowing whatsoever. It was just kind of like, oh, okay, we're going to pace this really slowly. From what I saw, the 8 episodes, it wasn't offering much. It didn't have something, there wasn't something there to make up for the lack of story or the lack of character development. It wasn't funny. It was just kind of, it seemed like mainstream anime that a lot of people would like, but it's going to be something like Sword Art Online, where it's overdone to the point where everyone hates it, or it's just going to be like Pokemon, where they just drag it out for as long as possible because it's successful. And it seems like they thought, okay, superheroes are popular now, because we all know that Marvel and DC are really big at the moment, and then One Punch Man was a massive success, so it feels like they were just jumping on that, going, okay, superheroes are successful, let's just quickly knock out superhero manga or series or anime series about some average kid who gets a power. That's what it feels like. That they didn't really, there wasn't a massive storyline planned, it was just, let's just do something quickly because it can make money, sort of, if that makes sense. I will have to say this isn't the worst anime I've seen. I have seen worse. There's one of my favourite shoujo series, and they did an OVA episode or two, and they got the manga, and they just got rid of 20 chapters at the beginning, which is very necessary character development and then development for the story, which happens after chapter 20. They got rid of all of that, and it just like starts like not even half, really, like quite far into the manga, and I was just like, what the fuck have you done? So yeah, I have seen worse anime. It is not the worst, but it's definitely not my favourite. It's definitely an anime I probably won't continue watching unless someone convinces me that the pacing gets better and that there is an actual storyline, and then they tell me what storyline it is, and hopefully if it's interesting enough and different enough, I'll watch it. I'm very, very fussy with anime. I will not watch something if it seems like something I've already seen because I'll get bored. I like to have something that's different, so if it's anything similar, I'll get bored. It's then predictable, and I can predict what happens in it. My Hero Academia is aimed for, I'd say, about 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds. I'm almost 19. I was watching this when I was almost 18. I'm an adult. I should be watching like seinen. That's the sort of thing I should be going towards because that's more aimed for my age group. This anime is aimed for young, like teenagers, because the storyline isn't complex, so they'll be able to understand it, sort of thing. It's got characters, they know that they will like these characters because they're like every other shonen character that is loved, sort of thing. That is why I say it's mainstream, because it is mainstream. It's really popular now, but it's mainstream. It was made to be mainstream. It was made to have predictable like storylines, characters that similar to other shonen characters, cliches. It was made to have that because they know that's what these teenagers like in Japan. This is what's going to make money. At the end of the day, studios just want to make money. They don't want to risk money on a series that might not be successful. I prefer anime series that are different because I've seen a lot of anime. I've been watching anime for 3 years. I've seen a lot in that time. So you can't blame me for disliking this because it's similar to every other shonen I have seen in the past. I personally prefer anime with a really complex storyline. Something like Death Note. Actually, no, Death Note is not that complex. It's easy to follow, but something that gets me thinking and leaves me on the edge of my seat wondering what's going to happen next. My Hero Academia doesn't have that. It's just an easy to watch anime, which is probably good for when you're like a teenager. I'm still a teenager, but a young teenager. If you don't like my opinion, okay, fair enough. Not everyone's going to like it. I will accept that. I will accept you probably don't like me because I have this opinion, and I accept that. I accept that you probably like this anime for the reasons I stated. You like its clichéness, or you don't think that it's cliché, or you think it's original and unique. Fine, I accept that. But just please accept my opinion. Like, if I'm willing to accept yours, you have to be willing to accept mine. If you want to like anime, you are going to have to accept that people aren't going to like the same anime that you like. They are going to say, oh, I hate Death Note. I won't attack someone who hates Death Note. I love Death Note, but also hate Death Note at the same time. I have a love-hate relationship with Death Note. There's so many things that piss me off with it, but I still love it. I'm not going to attack someone for disliking it. I understand why people would dislike it, and that's probably not the anime for them. If you want to be an anime fan and read reviews, watch reviews and whatever, you are going to just have to accept when someone's opinion is different to yours. You can't just go and attack them. There you go, this is my justification, and I hope I've explained it well enough and in detail enough. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you dislike it, give it a thumbs down, because a lot of people probably thumbs this down as well, and to be honest, I don't care. This is my opinion. I like my opinion. It's mine, and it's original. No one else has come out and said these things about My Hero Academia, so I like being original and unique. So if you want more anime content, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time maybe. Bye.